The grand hall of the Xyrillian Empire shined with cold blue light. Tall crystal pillars stood like frozen giants, and hundreds of alien nobles gathered inside, whispering with excitement. They were here to watch something new, something strange, something from Earth. In the center of the hall, a large hologram flickered to life. It showed humans on Earth sharing simple moments, talking, laughing, touching hands. And then it showed a human couple kissing. The moment the scene appeared, the hall exploded with laughter. High-pitched alien voices echoed from wall to wall. They laughed as if they had seen the most foolish act in the galaxy. No one laughed louder than Princess Veilira, the daughter of the Xyrillian Emperor. She stood on her platform with perfect posture, her silver robes shining under the lights. Her violet eyes were sharp, intelligent, and cold. When she laughed, the whole court joined her. "Look at them," she said mockingly, pressing their mouths together, such a strange ritual. Her friends nodded eagerly, trying to impress her. "To think humans consider that a sign of love," one alien said. "They are so emotional, so primitive," said another. Veilira raised her hand, and the hall fell silent. Her voice echoed proudly, "Humans act from emotion, not from logic. They show affection through physical contact. Weak, undisciplined creatures." The court cheered, agreeing without question. To them, humans were nothing more than emotional animals. But all the noise stopped when a new figure walked into the hall. A human. He was tall, calm, and wearing a dark blue uniform, the symbol of the Terran Diplomatic Corps. His name was Lieutenant Aaron Hayes. He had been invited to the cultural exchange as Earth's representative. But he had arrived quietly, without drawing attention. When the aliens saw him, some gasped, some stepped back. They did not expect a human to witness their mockery. But Aaron did not react. He simply stood with a calm face, watching the hologram continue to play. Veilira stared at him with curiosity. She expected embarrassment, anger, or at least some emotional outburst. But Aaron gave none. He walked forward and stopped near the main platform. His voice was steady and respectful. "If you laugh," he said softly, "then maybe you do not understand what you are seeing." The hall froze. No alien had expected such confidence from a human. Veilira tilted her head slightly. Her tone remained sharp. "We understand enough. Your species displays affection in the most primitive ways. Kissing, touching, hugging. You act like children who cannot control their feelings." Aaron looked at her for a long moment. His expression did not change. "To you it may look childish," he said, "but to humans affection is strength, not weakness." Many aliens whispered in confusion. Strength? Emotion? These ideas clashed with everything they believed. Veilira stepped closer, her voice cold but curious. "Explain, human. Why do your people kiss?" She spoke the word as if it were something dirty or foolish. Aaron didn't flinch. He simply replied, "Because we choose to share moments. Because we care. Because we trust." The room fell silent again. Aliens exchanged puzzled looks, unsure how to process his words. Veilira felt irritation building inside her. This human was not reacting the way she expected. He was not weak, emotional, or unstable. He was calm, steady, unshaken. For the first time she felt a spark of interest. Not respect yet, but curiosity. She wanted to push him further. She pointed at the hologram. "So, human, if you say kissing is strength, show us. Show this court the value of such a primitive act." A wave of shock spread across the hall. Aliens gasped softly, unable to believe their princess had issued such a strange challenge. Aaron looked at her, not frightened, not offended. He simply answered, "I do not perform affection like a show." The crowd murmured. Veilira narrowed her eyes. This was unexpected. No fear, no embarrassment, no desperation to prove himself. Instead he showed restraint, control, dignity. Qualities Xyrillians respected deeply, even if they rarely admitted it. Her curiosity grew stronger. She wanted to test this human, understand him, break his calm mask. Perhaps then she could prove that humans were nothing more than emotional animals. She announced loudly, "Then I challenge you to the trial of emotion. If humans believe their feelings make them strong, then prove it before the Empire." The hall erupted again with whispers, shock, excitement. The trial of emotion was a dangerous ritual that tested honesty and inner strength. Many aliens failed it. No human had ever attempted it. Aaron did not even blink. He answered in a calm voice, "I accept." Veilira's eyes widened just slightly. The first crack in her mask of confidence appeared. Why did he accept so easily? What did he know that she did not? Aaron glanced at the hologram one last time. Then he looked straight at her. Perhaps, he said gently, you laugh because you are afraid to understand humans. The hall went silent. Veilira felt something she had not felt in years. A tiny sting inside her chest. Was it anger? Or was it something else? She didn't know yet. But she would soon find out. The moment Aaron accepted the challenge, the grand hall changed. Lights dimmed, the laughter faded, and the Xyrillian court watched in silent awe. No human had ever agreed to face the trial of emotion. Most alien diplomats avoided it, and even trained Xyrillian warriors struggled to pass it. Princess Veilira stepped down from her platform with slow, graceful movements. Her eyes stayed fixed on Aaron, studying every detail of him. She expected fear, maybe hesitation, maybe second thoughts. But Aaron's expression remained as calm as still water. She felt irritation again mixed with confusion. How could a human stand so still in front of the Empire's most dangerous ritual? Two Xyrillian guards walked forward and opened the door to the trial chamber. A dark mist curled outward, like shadows crawling across the floor. The audience leaned forward, whispering nervously. Some said the human would collapse in minutes. Others said he would panic and embarrass Earth. But Aaron walked inside without any fear. His footsteps were steady, his breathing calm. Veilira followed him, her long robes flowing behind her like silver smoke. Inside the chamber the air felt heavy. Blue symbols glowed on the walls, holding ancient energy within them. The trial did not test the body, it tested the heart. It attacked fears, memories, sadness, confusion. It showed truths that a person tried to hide from themselves. Veilira's voice echoed in the room, firm and commanding. Human, the trial of emotion will reveal your true self. If you break, your weakness will be shown to all. Aaron nodded respectfully. I have nothing to hide. His simple words hit her unexpectedly. They were not spoken as pride, but as honesty. She disliked how steady he was. No alien stood so straight inside this chamber, not even Xyrillian nobles. The trial began. The blue symbols on the walls brightened, filling the room with eerie light. A wind formed from nowhere, and the air rippled like water. Aaron saw the first illusion appear in front of him. A dark forest, shadows moving between the trees. A whispering voice calling his name. It was supposed to trigger fear. Xyrillians usually screamed here. But Aaron stepped forward. He looked at the shadows and breathed slowly. He did not fight the fear. He let it pass through him like wind in a field. Veilira watched him closely, her brows lowering in disbelief. He was not resisting. He was accepting. Why would anyone do that? Xyrillians fought fear like an enemy. Humans seemed to understand it differently. The second illusion formed. This time, Aaron stood in a room filled with broken equipment, damaged walls, and silent emptiness. Memories of loss, of missions gone wrong, of people left behind. It was meant to attack his heart. Most aliens failed here, collapsing under the weight of sorrow. But Aaron only closed his eyes. He whispered something too soft to hear, maybe a memory, maybe a name. Then he opened his eyes again and kept walking. Veilira felt something strange stir in her chest. Why was he not breaking? Humans were supposed to be fragile creatures. So emotional, so easy to hurt. Yet this human walked through pain as if he had walked through it many times before. The final illusion rose from the floor like smoke. A mirror. Not a normal mirror, one that showed the deepest truth of a person. Many aliens saw their fears or failures. Some saw their hidden cruelty. Some saw their regrets. Aaron stepped in front of the mirror. His reflection looked tired, scarred, older than his real face. It showed a man who had fought too many fights. A man who had carried burdens quietly. A man who cared more than he admitted. Veilira expected him to turn away. She expected him to hide, to deny, to run. But he reached out and touched the mirror gently. He accepted the reflection without shame, without fear. The mirror shattered into dust, meaning he passed. The blue symbols on the walls dimmed. The chamber became calm again. The trial had ended. Veilira stared at him, completely stunned. What are you? She whispered before she could stop herself. Aaron turned toward her, his expression still calm. A human, he said softly, nothing more. But Veilira felt a tremor inside her chest. It was not fear. It was not anger. It was something unfamiliar, something she could not explain. She stepped closer to him without realizing it. Her voice was quieter. You walked through fear, sadness, and truth without breaking. Aaron shook his head lightly. I did break, princess. Humans do not escape emotion, we walk with it. That is why we endure. His words struck her harder than any illusion. Endure? Through emotion. Her people avoided emotion, they hid from it, feared it, controlled it. But this human, he used it as strength. Before she could speak again, the chamber doors opened. The crowd outside gasped when they saw Aaron standing tall, fully conscious, unhurt. Whispers filled the hall instantly. He survived. He completed the trial. No human should be able to do that. Vaelira stepped out beside him. For the first time she did not look proud or mocking. She looked thoughtful, conflicted, and strangely quiet. She turned toward him and said with a serious tone, "Human, you have passed the trial of emotion. But I still do not understand your species." Aaron met her eyes gently. "Then let me show you," he said. Her heart skipped a beat, and she hated that she noticed it. The doors of the trial chamber closed behind them, and the grand hall buzzed with shock. Aliens whispered as Aaron and Princess Vaelira walked side by side. Some stared with fear, others with disbelief, but most simply could not understand how a human had passed the trial of emotion. Vaelira felt a tightness in her chest, something unfamiliar and uncomfortable. It bothered her that she did not know what it meant. It bothered her even more that Aaron walked calmly beside her, as if the trial had been nothing but a quiet walk through a garden. She stopped in the center of the hall and turned to face him. The entire court watched them in silence. Her voice was sharp but slightly unsteady. "You say emotion is strength, human? You claim your species uses feeling to endure." Aaron nodded once. "We do." Vaelira lifted her chin. "Then prove it in a way I can understand." A ripple of shock moved through the audience. Was she asking him to show her human affection? Aaron stood still for a moment. His calm eyes studied her face, not with arrogance, not with judgment, but with honesty. Then he shook his head gently. "I do not perform affection as entertainment." The hall gasped. No one refused a Xyrillian princess. But Aaron did, without fear, without hesitation. Vaelira felt something hot flare inside her. It was not anger. It was something sharper, something confusing. Why did this human deny her? Why did he not bend like everyone else? She took a step closer, her voice lowering. "Are you afraid I will laugh again?" "No," Aaron replied softly. "I am waiting for the right moment to show you what it means." His words hit her harder than she expected. A strange warmth curled in her chest. The hall watched them with wide eyes. It was the first time in years that Vaelira did not have full control of a situation. Before she could question him further, a sudden alarm echoed through the hall. A high, sharp sound. Xyrillian guards rushed in from every entrance, weapons drawn. "Emergency breach," one shouted. "Unknown entity near the eastern balcony." The lights flickered. The ground vibrated slightly. Aliens scrambled for safety, hiding behind pillars and platforms. Vaelira's instincts sharpened instantly. She turned toward the balcony above them. Smoke seeped from the corridor and the metal railing shook violently. Aaron reacted faster than anyone. He grabbed Vaelira's arm and pulled her behind one of the crystal pillars just as the balcony cracked open. A dark creature burst through the shadows, roaring with a deep metallic sound. The alien court screamed. Some guards fired energy weapons, but the shots barely slowed the creature. It was fast, aggressive, and heading straight toward the center of the hall. Vaelira stepped forward, energy forming in her hands. But before she could strike, the balcony gave way completely. A massive chunk of metal fell toward her. She didn't see it in time, but Aaron did. He lunged forward, wrapping an arm around her waist and pulling her out of the way just as the balcony crashed down behind them. The impact shook the entire hall, dust filling the air. The world seemed to freeze for Vaelira. Her heart pounded. Aaron's arm stayed around her, steady, warm, strong. Their faces were close, too close. She felt breath against her cheek. A strange, warm spark raced through her chest, something she had never experienced before. For a moment, everything else, the guards, the screams, the creature, disappeared. All she saw was him. All she felt was that unfamiliar warmth. Aaron's voice broke through her daze, calm and low. "I'm not letting anything happen to you." Her breath caught. Something inside her trembled. She pushed him away quickly, confused and overwhelmed. "I did not ask for your protection," she said, but her voice lacked its usual strength. Aaron only replied, "You did not have to." Before Vaelira could answer, the creature roared again. Guards were finally pushing it back, forcing it toward the exit. The danger slowly faded. But inside Vaelira, a new danger had awakened, one she could not fight. She stared at Aaron, her heart still racing. "What was that feeling?" she whispered without thinking. Aaron looked at her gently. "The part of humanity you keep mocking," he said. Her breath stopped. She suddenly hated how her chest tightened at his words. She hated how her thoughts became messy and unclear. She hated how this human had walked into her world and shaken a belief she held her entire life. The hall returned to order. The guards saluted the princess, waiting for commands, but Veilira barely heard them. Her mind was trapped on one question. How could one human, one simple act, one moment of closeness, make her feel something her species spent centuries denying? She didn't know, but she intended to find out. She turned to Aaron, her voice colder but weaker than before. "You will explain this to me, human?" she said. "Every part of it." Aaron nodded once. "I will," he said, "when you're ready to listen." And for the first time in her life, Princess Veilira did not know if she was ready or afraid. The hall slowly returned to its normal brightness. Guards repaired the broken balcony, servants cleaned the fallen debris, and the nobles whispered among themselves, still shaken by what happened. But Princess Veilira did not hear any of it. Her mind was trapped in the moment when Aaron pulled her close. The warmth of his arm, the steady breath, the strange spark in her chest. She was a Xyrillian princess, trained from childhood to feel nothing. Her people believed emotion was dangerous. Emotion clouded judgment, weakened logic, created chaos. Yet one human had made her heart react stronger than any Xyrillian warrior ever had. She hated the confusion. She hated the weakness she felt. But she hated most how she could not forget it. Aaron stood quietly near one of the pillars, speaking calmly with a guard about security protocols. He acted as if nothing unusual had happened. No pride, no arrogance, no boasting. Only quiet responsibility. Veilira watched him with narrowed eyes. She kept replaying the moment he saved her. Why had he done it? Why risk his life for someone who mocked him? Why show care for someone who insulted his species? She approached him, her voice sharper than she intended. "Human," she called. Aaron turned toward her immediately. "Yes, princess." Her chest tightened again at his steady tone. She looked away quickly, trying to hide it. "You acted recklessly," she said. "You could have died." Aaron shook his head. "I acted because you were in danger." She frowned. "But why?" "I am not your kin, not your companion, not your friend." Aaron replied gently. "You do not need to be." His answer hit her like a strike. She stepped back slightly, her eyes widening. "You protect people even when they are not important to you?" "Yes," Aaron said, "that is what humans do." She felt something shift inside her. A belief she held for years started cracking. Her people only protected those who were valuable to the empire. Everyone else was considered expendable. But humans protected out of choice, not duty. Veilira hated the feeling of admiration rising in her chest. She turned away from him and walked toward the balcony corridor. She needed space. She needed air. She needed distance from this human who twisted her thoughts. But when she reached the quiet balcony, she found herself doing something she never thought she would. She watched humans. She observed them from a distance, trying to understand what made them so different. Outside the hall, human delegates interacted with each other. One human laughed and patted another on the back. Two shook hands warmly. A woman hugged a crying child, whispering comfort. Every gesture looked honest, natural, powerful. Veilira realized she had never seen her own people act like that. Xyrillian culture was based on control, silence, and distance. Emotion was treated like a dangerous toxin. But humans treated it like a bridge, a connection, a source of strength. A small voice inside her whispered, "Maybe they are not as primitive as we believed." She tightened her jaw, refusing to admit it, but the thought stayed quietly burning. Later that evening, Veilira found Aaron alone in one of the side chambers, repairing a damaged scanning device from the earlier attack. The quiet blue lights reflected on his face, making him look strangely peaceful. She hesitated before approaching him. Her heart beat faster again, annoying her. Why did he affect her like this? She stood beside him, trying to sound calm. "Human," she said, "I need to ask something." Aaron set down the device and looked at her respectfully. "What is it, princess?" Veilira crossed her arms, a defensive instinct. "When you saved me, my chest felt tight," she said slowly. "My heart beat faster, my thoughts became unclear." She paused, embarrassed. "What is that?" Aaron watched her with gentle eyes. She hated how gentle they were. "You cared about what might happen," he said softly. "That feeling is connection. It is human. It is honest." Veilira looked away quickly, her cheeks warming. "No," she whispered, "Xyrillians do not feel that." Aaron shook his head gently. "Maybe you were trained not to feel it." But that does not mean you cannot. Her breath trembled. She was not supposed to tremble. She was not supposed to feel. Yet here she was, standing in front of a human who saw straight through her armor. Aaron took one small step closer. Not threatening, not aggressive. Just close enough for her to feel the warmth coming from him. He spoke softly. You asked me to show you what you mocked. Valira swallowed hard. Her voice came out in a whisper. Yes. Aaron raised a hand slowly, giving her every chance to step back. She didn't. Her eyes locked on his, confused, drawn in. She felt something in her chest she had never felt before. A pull. A warmth. A fragile curiosity. Aaron's voice dropped to a soft, steady tone. If you truly want to understand, he said, I can show you. A long silence filled the room. Valira's heart pounded fast. Faster than she ever thought possible. She finally whispered, Show me. And for the first time in her life, Princess Valira stepped toward someone not with power, not with pride, but with something dangerously close to trust. The chamber grew quiet as Valira stepped closer. The usual cold confidence in her eyes had softened into something unsure, something new. She had faced wars, councils, trials, and politics without fear. But standing in front of one calm human suddenly felt more frightening than all of them. Aaron noticed the small shake in her breath. He did not tease her. He did not rush forward or make any bold move. He simply offered a gentle, steady presence. A presence that made her feel safe even when she did not want to admit it. He lifted a hand slowly, each movement careful, respectful, waiting for her reaction. When his fingers reached her cheek, Valira froze. Her skin tingled under his touch. A warm pulse ran through her chest. She had never been touched like this. Not with force, not with authority, not with duty, but with choice. Her people believed touch was dangerous. Humans believed touch could heal. Aaron spoke softly. You do not have to do anything. Just breathe. Valira swallowed. Her voice trembled slightly. I am not afraid. Aaron's eyes softened. I know, he replied. But this is different from battle. She hated how right he was. She hated how vulnerable she felt. But she did not step back. Not this time. He stepped closer, slowly enough that she could stop him if she wished. She didn't. The space between them faded until she could feel the warmth of his breath. Her heart pounded so loudly she wondered if he could hear it. Aaron whispered, May I? Valira had never been asked for permission before. Aliens obeyed her. Warriors bowed to her. Worlds listened to her. But no one ever asked what she wanted. She looked into his eyes and found no mockery, no arrogance, no dominance. Only respect. Only honesty. Only warmth. Her voice came out in a soft whisper. Yes. Aaron leaned in slowly, giving her every chance to pull away. But she didn't move. She tilted her head slightly, her eyes fluttering shut. Their lips touched, gently at first, a soft spark brushing through her like warm starlight. Valira gasped quietly against his mouth. The warmth spread through her chest, her arms, her entire body. A feeling she had been taught to fear. A feeling she now wanted to drown in. Aaron kissed her with careful patience. No force. No pressure. Just connection. Just choice. Just trust. When they finally pulled back, Valira's eyes opened slowly, glowing with confusion and wonder. Her breath trembled. Her heart felt light and heavy at the same time. She whispered, I understand. Aaron smiled softly. Understand what? Valira touched her lips, still warm from the kiss. That emotion is not weakness, she said slowly. It is alive. It is real. Aaron nodded. That is why humans kiss. It is not about biology. It is about choosing someone. Her chest tightened again. But this time she did not push the feeling away. She let it settle inside her like a warm flame. Before either of them could speak again, the doors of the chamber opened suddenly. A group of Xyrillian nobles entered. They froze mid-step, their eyes widening in shock at the sight before them. The human and the princess standing close, faces flushed, the air heavy with something new. A deep silence fell across the room. No one had ever seen a Xyrillian princess share such closeness with anyone, especially a human. The nobles did not know what this meant. The guards did not know how to react. The court did not know whether to bow or flee. Valira straightened slowly, but she did not move away from Aaron. For the first time she let the court see something real. Something emotional. Something human. A brave choice from a princess who once mocked affection. She looked at her people and said calmly, Do not fear emotion. For it does not weaken a heart. It strengthens it. The hall murmured in disbelief. Erin stood beside her, silent but steady. Valyra turned to him. Her eyes no longer cold, no longer mocking, but warm and curious. What happens now? She asked. Erin smiled gently. Now, Princess, you decide what kind of person you want to be. Her heart raced again. But this time she embraced it. She took his hand, carefully, shyly, as if learning how to walk for the first time. Her fingers fit against his like they belonged there. The court watched, stunned and silent. The galaxy would soon whisper about this moment for generations. Not because a princess chose a human, but because a human taught an empire what it meant to feel. Valyra looked at Erin with a soft breath. I mocked what I never understood, she said. But now, I want to learn. Erin squeezed her hand gently. And I will teach you, he replied. For the first time in her life, Princess Valyra smiled. Not a royal smile, not a political smile, not a forced expression, but a real, warm, human-like smile. And somewhere deep inside the Xyrillian Empire, a new future was born,